The echo of your name. From the window of the old restaurant in Recoleta, Julieta watched the rain caress the cobbled street. The world seemed to fade quietly under that gray sky, as if it, too like her, was hiding a secret too heavy to speak. She had been in Buenos Aires for 5 years, trying to rebuild herself through ink and books, teaching literature at a university and scribbling poems on napkins. She had come from Seville, leaving behind a story she still didn't know how to end. His name was Elias. She met him one burning summer in Granada during a creative writing workshop. She was 29, he was 35. His voice was deep, almost hoarse, like a poem whispered late at night. He spoke little, but when he did, his words hung in the air, as if they never wanted to leave. Their love wasn't fast or wild. It was slow, like a winter sunrise, and yet deep, inevitable. For a year, they shared books, silences, red wine, and nights in which they loved each other as if the world beyond their bodies did not exist. But the world did exist, and with it, tragedy. One day, Elias didn't show up. He didn't respond to messages. He didn't answer his phone. The last time Julieta had seen him was a week before, in his apartment, reading Rilke and telling her he felt something dark looming over him. She thought he meant his depression, the one he never really faced. But it wasn't that. Days later, they found him. Lifeless. A note. Just 3 lines. Forgive me. I've tried, but I don't know how to get out of myself. I love you, but I can't go on. Elias's voice echoed in her mind like a permanent ghost. Since then, Julieta had never spoken about him. She crossed the Atlantic looking for air, and she found it, partially, in a city that wasn't hers but allowed her to breathe. That afternoon at the restaurant, a stranger sat beside her, tall, lean, with eyes the color of the southern sea. He interrupted her while she was writing in her notebook. May I sit? The place is full. Julieta looked at him for a second and nodded. He smiled, as if he somehow knew this moment mattered. His name was Dante. He was a photographer, a wanderer, melancholic, with a crooked smile and hands full of stories. He didn't talk much about himself, but he listened as if each word she said could shift the earth. They met 3 times that week, then 5, then every day. Dante was everything Elias hadn't been: light, present, clear. Julieta felt safe with him, but also guilty, because every time Dante touched her, a shadow crossed her memory. Love, she thought, wasn't supposed to hurt this much. Who was he? Dante asked one night while they sat on the terrace overlooking the city lights. Who? The one still living in your silences. Julieta closed her eyes. She could lie, but she didn't. His name was Elias. He was everything, and then he left. Dante said nothing. He just took her hand. In that gesture, there was more comfort than 1,000 words could offer. Months passed. Life started to seem possible. Julieta wrote again. Dante planned his photography show. They began imagining a future. A trip down south, a shared apartment, a cat. Until that letter arrived. No return address. The paper was the kind Elias used to write on. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Julieta, I don't know if this will reach you. If it does, it means I survived. I didn't die that day. I tried, yes, but I didn't succeed. I was in a coma. Then in a psychiatric hospital. At first, I couldn't remember your name. Later, I did. I shouted it in my sleep so many times the doctors thought you were a hallucination. I'm alive. And if you hate me, I understand. But I had to tell you I still love you. Not a day has passed without thinking of you. Julieta felt the world split in 2. What she thought was lost had come back. What do you do when the past returns? Asking for what time couldn't erase. She didn't sleep for days. Dante noticed her absence, her new silences. She showed him the letter. What are you going to do? He asked. I don't know. Do you still love him? I don't know if it's love or just pain, Julieta replied. With Elias, it was like drowning in darkness. With you, I feel like I'm walking. Dante nodded. He stood up. He said nothing more. The next day, he was gone. He left her a note. I love you too much to stay as a shadow. Come back if you want, if you can, but do it for yourself. Julieta walked on the edge of herself for weeks. She cried for both men, for herself, for everything love couldn't fix. Finally, she made a decision. She wrote 2 letters. To Elias, she said she had loved him deeply, but the pain of his absence had changed her, that she couldn't go back, that his name would always be a beautiful scar, but a scar nonetheless. To Dante, she said walking in the light was harder than getting lost in the dark, but she wanted to try, with him, if he still wanted her. A week later, in the same restaurant, Dante sat in front of her. No words, just a smile. And Julieta knew that the echo of a name can hurt, but real love doesn't ask you to forget the past, only to choose the present. The restaurant where Julieta and Dante used to meet was called Alma del Sur. It wasn't fancy, but it had something special. Antique wooden tables, candles lit every night, and a terrace that opened onto a quiet little square. Life there seemed to breathe more slowly. That's where their new chapter began. After sending the letters, Julieta didn't know if Dante would come back, but he did. He sat across from her with that imperfect smile that always disarmed her. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. She took his hand over the table, and for the first time, she felt that love wasn't a battle, but a refuge. Months passed. They shared short trips along the Argentine coast, sunrises with mate and soft music, half-read books, and silences that no longer weighed them down. Julieta kept teaching and writing. Dante worked on his photo exhibition titled Luminous Scars. "Do you know why I named it that?" he asked one night during dinner. "Because that's how you see life," she replied. He nodded. Then, without warning, he said, "I want you to come with me to Paris." Julieta looked at him, surprised. He explained. A gallery in Montmartre had bought some of his photos. They were offering him a 6-month artist residency, and he wanted her to join him. "I don't want to go without you," he said quietly but firmly. "Bring your books, your notebooks, your ideas. Just come." Julieta hesitated, not from fear, but from the ghosts that sometimes visited her on the coldest nights. Elias, the past, the pain. What if everything unraveled again? But deep down, she knew she couldn't keep living with one foot in the past. Life was now. "Yes," she said, holding his hand. "Let's go." Paris welcomed them with rain. But it was different rain, soft, almost poetic. They rented a small apartment near Canal Saint-Martin with tall windows and creaky wooden floors. Every corner was a promise. Dante worked at the gallery. Julieta wrote each morning in a corner of the living room with warm coffee and the city pulsing behind the glass. She felt, finally, that her soul could breathe. One afternoon, while exploring an old bookstore, Julieta found a book of Rilke's poetry. When she opened it, a note fell to the floor. It wasn't recent. The paper was yellow with age. It read, "Love is not possession, it's movement. It is not waiting, it is impulse. If it hurts too much, maybe it's not love, just fear of letting go." She took it as a message from the universe, as if life were whispering to her, confirming she had made the right choice. One January day, in the middle of winter, Julieta received an unexpected email. It was from an anonymous account. No photo, no name, just, "I'm in Buenos Aires. I'm not looking for anything. I just wanted to know if you're happy." Yeah. She read the message 3 times. She didn't respond. That night, during dinner at a small French restaurant, Dante noticed her expression. "Everything okay?" She hesitated, then showed him the message. "I don't want to lie to you," she said. "He wrote to me. Just that. I didn't reply. I don't plan to." Dante looked at her calmly. "Thanks for telling me. I just want you to know that if one day you need to return to that place, I'll be okay. I would wait for you, even." Julieta hugged him right there, among pasta dishes and soft music. And she realized she had found something Elias could never give her. Freedom within love. 6 months later, the residency ended. They returned to Buenos Aires, but nothing was the same. They had grown, healed, forgiven. Sometimes pain returns, like a gentle tide, but Julieta no longer feared drowning. The restaurant Alma del Sur was still there. They returned one evening, same table, same candles, but different faces, different hearts. "What if we write a book together?" Dante suggested playfully. "About what?" "About this. About how real love isn't always perfect, but it's possible." Julieta smiled. "Then let the first chapter start here, tonight, with a promise." Dante raised his glass. She did the same, and they toasted to love, second chances, and names that no longer hurtly taught. The end.